Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Nick Heddy, the Chief Revenue Officer of Pax8, a company that helps manage service providers achieve more with the cloud. Welcome to the call, Nick.
Thank you for having me, Malcolm.
Nick, you grew your company's revenue 4,393% from 2014 to 2017, and in 2018, you grew your revenue by another 400% year on year as well. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Yes. So Pax8 is cloud distribution. And what I mean when I say that is we feel like the market has been evolving over the past decade, and that there is a convergence right now where more and more people are looking for cloud applications and softwares in order to move their business to the modern workplace. And while legacy distribution is very good at shipping a box from point A to point B, we feel like they are lacking when it comes to all of the subtle nuances when dealing with cloud business. And so we focus on MSPs, who primarily focus on the small to mid-sized market, and we help them achieve more through cloud technology. And there are lots of distributors in the market, and I think we stand out because of the wingman experience that we're providing. And when I say that, it means there are oftentimes a gap within an MSP's business, and whether it's marketing or delivery of services or support, whatever that may be, Pax8 has teams trained up, and during your onboarding call, we would identify what those gaps may be, and we look to fill those with a Pax8 wingman to enable your MSP to grow faster.
Okay. Now, some of the terminology is new to me, and I imagine it might be new to people who are listening as well. Can you, again, describe maybe in layman's term what a cloud distributor does?
Yes. So as a cloud distributor, we believe the days of hardware are waning, and you can build a pure cloud play and fully support your end user customer. But it is complex to integrate lots of vendors together and deliver a fully baked solution to your end user. And so Pax8 is focused on making consumption of cloud easy.
Okay, can you give a simple example of how Pax8 does that?
Yes. So Pax8 has a technology that we call Pax8 Stacks. And this talks to the stack of technology that you take to your customer, which may include Office 365, some backup products like maybe a Veeam, a Datto, or an Infrascale, and then security products like a Webroot, a Symantec, an IronScales, and many others. We allow you to build that package, get one bill from Pax8, and integrate all that technology together as it's being delivered.
Okay. And the MSPs, that stands for Managed Service Providers, what do they do for their client, and how do they use Pax8 services to deliver their service?
Yeah, great question. So the average small business oftentimes will not have a budget to have a fully staffed IT headcount within their organization if they are less than 25 users. We have found that to be kind of the tipping point where they do have some in-house staff. Instead of bringing on a full headcount, they'll oftentimes outsource that to a managed service provider who will make sure that all the technology is always up and running and meeting the business needs of that small business. And so the example would be Microsoft and other products bundled together being consumed by a small business. They'll actually manage all of those services for you.
Right. Okay. And so whatever services you need, the managed service provider, they will turn to Pax8 to help deliver that.
Yeah, as a small business, you might not know what package from Microsoft you need, as they have 40,000 SKUs out there, or what security product is the new leading technology that will keep you protected. You want to focus on your core business, which is going out and getting new customers, and they rely on that trusted consultant, that managed service provider, to give them and deliver them the right products.
Right. And so the managed service providers, what else do they do other than I mean, one, they use Pax8 to deliver the service, and then their job going forward is just make sure everything's running properly. Is that what the MSP will do?
Yeah, so they add value in a lot of areas. Security is typically a focus for them, but they are constantly managing the endpoints within an organization to make sure that you are protected from any and all threats.
Okay, great. Got it. Now, your growth was tremendous over the past few years, right? You know, over 4,000% from 2014 to 2017. And then you guys kind of slacked off a bit. You only had 400% growth last year. So, before we talk about how you did this, though, actually, no, I guess we did already talk about this. But can you share what the 3 biggest drivers were of that amazing growth?
Yep. So for Pax8, Microsoft is actually absolutely the cornerstone of what we do, but Microsoft can be complex to deal with directly. And so our go-to-market strategy is very much in line with Microsoft's. And over the past quarter, Q4, we were notified that we added more net new customers to Microsoft than any other distributor in the world. So I would say Microsoft is absolutely a piece of it. And then we have a lot of technology that makes the sales and marketing easier through Pax8 Stacks, which is our BI tool. It is always looking at what every end user is consuming, which is underneath of our managed service providers, and it is helping them to decide what to sell next. It is comparing companies within the same industry or niche and giving a security score and making sure that those customers are always in line with what our industry standards. And then the third biggest driver would be the wingman experience, which is whether you are a vendor, a partner, a customer, you can always know that you are going to be treated as you treat others. And so it is that golden rule that helps us grow fast.
Okay. Can you recap again the top 3 drivers? Because I think I got a little bit lost there trying to follow all the terminology. So the first one I know you mentioned is Microsoft. You have a similar go-to-market strategy as Microsoft. Yep. I think I need some clarification there. The second one, I think you talked about you make it easier to sell your services on a marketing and sales front. Again, I think I might need some more elaboration there. And then the third one, wingman experience. Did I get the sequence right or wrong here?
Yep, those are the 3.
Okay, great. Can you recap a bit more on the first one then? Your Microsoft go-to-market strategy.
Yep. So Office 365 is the fastest growing SaaS product ever in history. And within the US, Microsoft has said that only 21% has adopted Office 365. And they believe that 65% of that remaining 79% is going to be moving in the next 18 months. So there is this tidal wave of opportunity for those who can make Microsoft easier to consume. And that is the cornerstone of what Pax8 does. We make Microsoft easier to consume for managed service providers. And that's absolutely number 1, biggest growth driver.
Right. Okay. So make it easier for companies to, or rather MSPs to offer the Microsoft platform to their clients.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. And the reason why you make it easier is because Microsoft has, I forget how many thousands of SKUs you mentioned. So you just make it easier to package up what the MSPs need for their client using the Microsoft products.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it. And number 2, making it easier to sell the services. Can you elaborate on that again?
Yep. And I apologize for using very technical terms. Every interview I do is usually very super technical. So Microsoft being the cornerstone of the offering for our managed service providers, we then use a business intelligence tool that tells our partners what to sell every single customer that they have. So based on what they're consuming today, it will say, Mr. MSP, you should be selling this product next to this customer based on their industry, how many employees they have, and what other technology products that they are consuming. And so oftentimes an MSP doesn't have the time to comb through Excel spreadsheets. We bring those solutions right to the forefront and give them the marketing collateral in order to make it easy to sell next.
Ah, nice. Okay. So they just have do a simple survey of sorts, what industry they're in, how many employees they have, maybe have a quick discussion as to what kind of services they're using now and what they might need. And then your tool offers up the optimal configure or what they think is the best configuration to start with.
Yeah, so all of that is automated. So we're looking at the industry they're in. We know how many employees they have. Some of these are the basic data points that we gather to turn somebody on to Microsoft. So if you think about how many email licenses do I need, what type of license do I need, all of these things tell us a lot about an end user customer. And we take that information and pick the next product that makes the most sense.
Right. And then the benefit here is that it just makes it really easy for the MSP, and I mean easy, but even very fast, right, for them to assess what their potential client may need and giving them a quote or proposal quite rapidly as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now, how much longer does it take your competitors to do something like that?
They don't even have that capability today, and it would be somebody who is doing a manual lookup. So if you think about a person having to look at every customer and what they're consuming and what industry they're in and how many employees they have, and then to make a recommendation, that could take an hour. Well, we do it constantly for 40,000 customers.
40,000, that's a good number. So your systems essentially allow you to handle 40,000 customers. How much do you have a take on how many customers the other cloud distributors have or can have, given that they're more manual?
Yeah, so we are absolutely the small fry, the newcomer. Our competitors are all in that $50 billion range when we think about the people we are actually going head to head with in this MSP space. And so with our small revenue mark that I shared earlier, we're not scratching the surface. I would imagine they have 100 times more customers than we have.
Right, but they're doing it all or much more manual process than you.
I don't work for them, but I would guess that they do.
Right. Okay, got it. And the third one, your wingman experience. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah. So if you think about companies that provide great experiences out in the marketplace in general across all industries, you think about companies like a Nordstrom's or a Patagonia, that you want to do business with them because they treat you well. Pax8 describes this as the wingman experience. And for our managed service provider partners, trying to get their customers from an on-prem scenario to the cloud can be complex. And so you need a wingman when helping your customers make that move. And Pax8 is there to fill any gap that you might have within your managed service provider business and make that as an easy a transition as we can.
Can you give some examples of how the Pax8 wingman helps out?
Yeah. So let me see if I can give an example without being super technical.
Yeah.
There is an infrastructure as a service provider out there, Microsoft, and their cloud platform is Azure. And if you are somebody who is consuming a piece of hardware and need to architect your new infrastructure in the cloud, but do not have somebody on staff to help you to do so, to quote it out, to estimate what those costs are going to be moving forward so that you can then in turn send a quote to your customer. That is one example. We will take a look at your infrastructure and we will provide you with those quotes and estimate those usage numbers so that you can serve your end user.
Right. Okay. So if it's outside their area of expertise, then they have Pax8 available to help them if at all possible.
Yeah. And anytime you're selling a new customer, maybe your focus is on continuity or security. And so those products that are outside of your specialty, you're not up to speed on. Well, we can help you to sell those, position it, build your go-to-market stacks so that it all makes sense.
Right. Okay. Got it. So when you said you have 40,000 customers, is that 40,000 businesses that are using the Pax8 products or 40,000 MSPs?
40,000 businesses that are using the Pax8 product.
Okay. And how many MSPs would that typically translate into in terms of?
Yeah, we are approaching 6,000.
Okay, so you have 6,000 MSPs who are servicing 40,000 customers.
Correct.
Okay, great. Can you share a bit on what your 2019 plans and objectives are? What's the biggest opportunity that you see in 2019?
Yeah, so we're hoping that we continue to grow at that 400% rate year over year. We are planning on expanding internationally. Today we serve US and Canada. We are planning on moving into the UK and Australia this year. And we are also planning on expanding who we make our services available to. So expanding our path to market to include telco agents. And so right now it's 98% managed service providers. But for those telco agents who also have a customer base, they just operate in a little bit different business model. We're planning on making some updates to our very flexible platform to also serve them.
Okay. Can you share with me what the telco agents would do exactly? In layman's terms, not exactly.
Yeah. So typically a telco agent are a group of great salespeople, but typically do not have the in-house expertise to support their end users directly on the products or to handle the billing for those products. And so we are updating a module within our cloud platform that allows you to select Pax8 will bill on your behalf, and Pax8 will do tier 1 support for your end user customers. So therefore, the end result is enabling these agents to take Microsoft to market and sell it to their end users who are normally only consuming telco, UCaaS, connectivity type of products.
So you'll be selling potentially the Office 365 suite to them?
Absolutely.
Okay, right, because they already have the relationship with the business owners. So now it's a nice way for them to add more revenue to their business, and everyone wins.
Yes, sir.
All right, got it. So again, I'm still a bit shocked and stunned by your numbers. How were you able to so rapidly get 6,000 MSPs to use Pax8 to help 40,000 businesses over the past 4 years?
Yeah, I think that the MSP community is a tight one, and everybody talks to each other. So word of mouth is a huge driver for Pax8. And what that means is whether someone is a $100 million managed service provider or a 500,000 annual revenue service provider, every one of them is connected to many managed service providers within the ecosystem. And so we provide the wingman experience, that Nordstrom-like experience to every single partner, no matter the size. And we're able to do so because we have automated everything we can through our platform. And so it makes those touches when we get on a phone and get to talk to our partners very high value, and not spending time clicking around and setting things up. We have automated all of those types of
Okay. So you make it really easy to do business with you. Now, how did the MSPs, beyond word of mouth, how did they hear about you? I see that you have a fairly decent size pay-per-click campaign running. Is that your source of lead generation outside of word of mouth, or are there other sources of leads?
Yeah, so we have seen the most success in our field marketing. And so we are running anywhere from 60 to 80 field events where we are hosting them ourselves and getting together our partners. We are going to third-party events like the Channel Company or DattoCon or VeeamON, all of these guys who are interacting with managed service providers, and we're going to those shows and talking about what it is we do. And again, there are approximately 137,000 MSPs in the US, albeit many of them small, but we have just begun to scratch the surface. And I think we have about 11% of the active cloud service providers of Microsoft on net using us. So there is still lots of potential for growth.
So you're attending 60 to 80 events a year?
Correct.
And meeting with the MSPs. Okay. Now, do you find that to be a bit limiting though? Because it's kind of tough to scale that short of hiring more people to attend more events, right?
So we've got a multi-touch marketing approach. So field sales is where we see our highest ROI. We've also got lots of digital marketing campaigns. And this is driving a good portion of our new partners that are signing up with Pax8. And then we also view it as our marketing automation, which is how do we help our partners find new customers and sell more to their existing customers. And so when I think about our marketing efforts, it's around our field, our digital, and our outbound call center that we have here in Greenwood Village. But then it is also marketing automation for those who have already signed up with us to help them get more wallet share.
Right. Can you share a little bit about your digital marketing campaigns and what you're doing there?
I do not have that information at my fingertips.
Okay. Well, maybe broadly speaking, what channels are you using digital marketing wise?
I mean, we do have I'm going to jump in and you can take me out, but it's just so I can kind of talk to them. We do have a comprehensive digital marketing strategy that we have a digital marketing leader that has a team who deploys various agencies that we, work with ad roll, and we create asset pieces that were gated in order to generate new leads. We are very targeted. We get a lot of lists when we go to these events throughout the year, and we get the exact email addresses to be able to directly target those, the ideal customer for us, the MSP. So those are, a little bit of mix. Nick can repeat it in his own words, but that's a big driver for us, that digital. So we are recruiting about 300 new partners per month. And a lot of that is attributed to our digital marketing strategy.
Okay. No need for Nick to repeat himself. Amanda, you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Amanda Lee. I manage public relations for Pax8.
All right, fantastic. And thanks for sharing details on your digital marketing campaigns.
Yeah, so I can expand a little bit. So we use 5 or 6 different vendors. Some of them are for prospecting and retargeting. We're running Pax8 ads, placements on third-party sites. Obviously, we're in Google ads, so online SEM, again, highlighting Pax8 and Microsoft in that relationship. We are doing paid social advertising. We're doing digital demand generation. And as Amanda alluded to, we are creating unique pieces of collateral that are in high demand that we sometimes gate, and we are collecting managed service provider leads that route as well.
Fantastic. Now, are your marketing campaigns both offline and online? Are they all integrated together where you, for example, through your pay-per-click advertising, you've been able to determine what messages, what ads are converting best, and then pushing that out throughout all of your marketing?
Yeah, so we use a lot of the same tools I would imagine others use, products like Marketo, where we can take all of our digital marketing feeds and plug that in, and then we are creating those interesting moments based on how engaged somebody is with us, and it is then rolling over and creating tasks within Salesforce so that our cloud solutions advisors can reach out to those prospects.
Right. Fantastic. Now, in case maybe I missed this, or maybe you've already talked about it, but just to recap again. So right now, you're working with 6,000 MSPs. Your market is huge, right? Because you said there are 137,000 MSPs out there. Do you have a target for how many more MSPs you want to get on board your platform by year end?
Yeah, at the end of this year, we're hoping to have 10,000. And we are growing today by 350 new partners per month signing up with us. And that number continues to increase as word of mouth gets out. And as we continue to double the amount of events and continue to double down on our digital advertising, we can continue to see that volume grow.
Right. Now, is it safe to say that your revenue is going to grow linearly with the, on average, number of MSPs you onboard?
Hopefully exponentially. As people begin to use us, it's typically just for one product. And as they see that wingman experience that they get, they're typically going to market with 4.6 vendors on average. And so it should be, we're testing Microsoft with you, and then we see them go to market with almost 5 different vendors. And so we are seeing it exponentially grow, not linear.
Oh, very nice. Now, are you tied to the hip with Microsoft? Could you also use your technology to provide cloud services on a different platform, like Google's platforms, for example?
Absolutely, we could. We are seeing that Microsoft, and specifically the email suite of products, so your Office 365, your M365, those are among the fastest adopted, and so we are making sure to lead with those, and it is as that becomes our Trojan horse into that partner and that customer. But it's not the only way we get into a new partner. There are lots of security products that are the first ones that are being consumed. We try to pick those cloud products that are widely adopted, but we also try and find new up-and-comers who maybe haven't hit the market yet. And so as we take one of those companies and plug it into our ecosystem, I don't want to give away the name, but we dropped in a new vendor about 3 weeks ago, and we have seen 226 partners buy it for the first time in a 3-week period.
In relative to past new product offerings, that's a big change.
Yeah, so I mean, it all depends on the market. And when you pick something that is not a replacement, meaning I've got to go and uninstall something and install this, if it is a greenfield opportunity, those types of products, we are seeing a much higher adoption rate.
Right. Okay. So what do you see as your biggest challenge in 2019?
Yeah, so I would say we have an amazing feedback loop with our partners, and we want to provide that wingman experience. We're doing releases on our platform twice a week. We'd like to get to once a day. And it would probably be just to make sure that we stay focused on our targets and not try to do too much at once. We've got a lot of big plans this year, but we will not lose focus that the goal is to make cloud consumption easy for managed service providers. There's a lot of cool things we can do, but we want to make sure we're always delivering on that core focus.
Right. How about on a marketing and sales front? Any particular challenges there that you see that you need to figure out before the year's up?
Yeah, we've got our unit metrics and the amount of time it takes for a headcount to become effective down to a science. I would say our constraint there is we brought recruiting in-house, and it's that person finding enough new headcount for me, new salespeople for the floor.
So you're looking for more salespeople.
We need more salespeople. We've been hiring 20 salespeople every other month for the last year and a half. And so it is beginning to expand on itself. We just moved into a new space in October of 18, and it is a 75,000 square foot facility, and we are expecting to grow out of it sometime in Q3.
Okay. Now, can you explain the role that your sales people play in bringing on board a new MSP?
Yeah. So we have our sales positions broken down into a couple that drive our business. We have our cloud generation specialists. These are our outbound recruiting new partners and getting new partners active. We then have a cloud solutions advisor, and their job is really completely focused on Microsoft, as that is 95% of the time the first product that's being consumed as a new partner is being onboarded. And then we have our higher level account managers, our cloud solution consultants, and it is their job to upsell, cross-sell, find that go-to-market stacks that a managed service provider is going to want to standardize on, and then help them take that to market with their customer base. So those are really the three key positions. It's a lead gen type position, a onboarding, and then a account manager. But all three of those people are dedicated to an account. So a managed service provider will have any one of those three that they can reach out to at any time. And they also cover for each other. If somebody has a question and someone's on a call or out to lunch, then somebody can make sure they jump on that immediately.
Right. But it sounds like once they are found and signed up on your platform and onboarded, the interaction between the MSP and your team from a human-to-human perspective isn't too high. Sounds like you have a lot of automated systems in place.
We automate as much as we can, and we've got our sales process broken down into, we call it DOIVs: discover, order, implement, bill, support. And typically that loop comes full circle anytime it's time to discover a new vendor that they want to make a part of their stacks. And so it's very high touch for sales 1 through 3, and then 4 through 200 can be touchless on a vendor.
Right. But your team is available whenever they need to talk to someone, which is cool.
Exactly.
All right. So I guess 3 last questions for you. Who are your ideal customers? It sounds like your customers really are your MSPs. And actually, no, let me start over. I actually jumped to question number 2. Let me jump to question number 1. Say you have a billboard out on the freeway, and most people only have 6 seconds to read a billboard. What is the billboard message for your company?
In terms of our 6-second billboard message, when it comes to cloud, you need a wingman. We are distribution simplified.
Right. Okay. Got it. And my final 2 questions. Who are your ideal clients and the best way to reach them?
Yeah, so our ideal clients are any managed service provider, whether it be legacy and have only sold on-prem or hardware in the past, those who are transitioning now and need to optimize as much as they can, or those MSPs who are pure cloud players and want to become as efficient as possible. So any managed service provider looking to make a transition to cloud.
And the best way for them to reach your team?
Yeah, go to Pax8.com. In the top right-hand corner, there is a Become a Partner button. You can sign up right there. There's no minimums or quotas to hit, and you will have an onboarding call scheduled, typically within an hour or so.
Would you mind spelling out your URL?
Yeah. URL at Pax8.com is PAX8.com. Fantastic.
Now, how were you guys able to score that 4-letter, 4-digit alphanumeric domain name?
We've actually got as John Street, our business leader, who has been doing this time and time again, he's got a formula he uses. And I know I'm going to forget some of these, but it needs to sound like a verb. If you put a number in it, the URL is oftentimes available. If you plan on expanding in Asia, 8 is a lucky number. So he's got a whole rule. In fact, it's 8 rules. But he uses this anytime he is forming the name of his business. So his first company was Telephone Express, and he found that it was very difficult to get that company name on a t-shirt or a hat as it was too long.
Right. Didn't think about that.
He started going with things that sounded like verbs, and when it's got an 8 in it, we have found that we can stick 8s into innovate, elevate, celebrate, and so it's been helpful as we set our core values as a company to have that 8 in there as well.
Okay, great. Now, does Pax8 mean something in the tech world?
Nope.
Okay, good. But it's good, easy to remember.
Hence the URL was available.
Yes, but still, anything that's 4 letters, 4 alphanumeric characters is fantastic. Very hard to find ones that make sense.
Yep. Pax is Latin for peace.
And
if you put that 8 over, it turns into the affinity symbol, and so we are everlasting peace in the channel.
Good. All right. Thanks for joining us today, Nick, and sharing how you accelerated your company's high-value sales.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We've been speaking with Nick Heddy, the Chief Revenue Officer of Pax8, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit Eversprint.com.